Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today, we're celebrating getting to 2,500 subscribers. Thank you all so much for your support, it really means the world to me. I never would have believed when I split my channel that this one would explode, but here we are. And so, for the first video of 2023, I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to create a sideboard switcheroo deck. But before we get started, I'd like to quickly ask you to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel, and it's free. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. For those who are unfamiliar, the sideboard switcheroo is a trick from a long time ago. Back in the late 90s and early aughts, the idea was to take your entire sideboard and slot it into your deck. 15 cards doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 25% of a standard deck. This can completely change your strategy and throw off your opponents. Instead of sideboarding for the matchup, your opponent is now playing against a completely different deck, and they have no idea how to sideboard against it. But why do this in Commander? To save money, of course. If you have two decks that are similar, what's the point of buying 85 duplicate cards when you could just buy 115 cards and have two different decks? And so, I bring you my Rielle God of Locusts deck. Let's take a look at our commanders. Rielle the Everwise is a 3-mana 0/3 legendary human wizard. She gets +1/+0 for each instant and sorcery in our graveyard. Additionally, whenever we discard one or more cards for the first time each turn, we draw that many cards. The Locust God is a 6-mana 4/4 legendary god with flying. He says whenever we draw a card, we create a 1/1 blue and red insect creature token with flying and haste. We can pay 4 to draw and then discard a card, and if he ever goes to the graveyard from the battlefield, then during the next end step we can return him to our hand. So the two are similar, but there are some slight variations. Rielle wants to discard cards, whereas Locust God wants to draw cards. So while a card like Wheel of Fortune works great in both decks, Echo of Eons doesn't work as well with Rielle. So in this video, we'll be looking at Rielle, and then we'll be looking at the 14 cards I'll be swapping when I want Locust God in the command zone. In paper, I use colored stickers on the inner sleeves of the cards I want to swap, making it easier to change the decks out. Additionally, I want Rielle to be significantly stronger than Locust God, so you're going to see some powerful and mean cards in the list, but don't worry. A lot of them will be cut for Locust God. But before we get into our deck lists, we should keep in mind our checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, 1 sudden I win card. Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Scalding Tarn, Flooded Strand, Arid Mesa, Fabled Passage, Evolving Wilds, Steam Vents, Training Center, Storm-Carved Coast, Sulphur Falls, Volatile Fjord, Molten Tributary, Cascade Bluffs, Shivan Reef, Spire Bluff Canal, Fiery Islet, Lonely Sandbar, Desolate Lighthouse, 9 Islands, and 5 Mountains. Dramatic Reversal, paired with Isochron Scepter, gives us infinite mana. For mana rocks, we've got Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Mind Stone, Talisman of Creativity, Thought Vessel, Chromatic Lantern, and Decanter of Endless Water. Ruby Medallion, and Sapphire Medallion for cost reduction, and Stormkiln Artist, and Dockside Extortionist for treasure generation. Glinthorn Buccaneer, Jace's Archivist, Teferi Master of Time, Chandra Flamecaller, Breakthrough, Burning Inquiry, Dangerous Wager, Tolarian Winds, Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Misfortune, Windfall, Sensei's Divining Top, Scroll Rack, Mystic Remora, Rhystic Study, Teferi's Ageless Insight, Consecrated Sphinx, and Wizard class make up our card advantage package. Snapcaster Mage, and Underworld Breach to replay spells, and Mystical Tutor as our only tutor. Narset Parter of Veils? That's right, we're one of those players. Firestorm, Swan Song, Vandal Blast, Abrade, Arcane Denial, Mana Drain, Narset's Reversal, Negate, Rites of Refusal, Turbulent Dreams, Chaos Warp, Deflecting Swat, Fierce Guardianship, Force of Negation, Force of Will, Lightning Greaves, Swiftfoot Boots, Counterbalance, and Expansion Explosion. Cyclonic Rift, Flood of Tears, and Blasphemous Act, keeping it simple here. The Locust God makes an appearance, as does Niv-Mizzet Perun. Thassa's Oracle, Laboratory Maniac, and Jace Wielder of Mysteries all serve as win cons, alongside Psychosis Crawler. Finally, Ominous Seas is basically a free 8/8 every turn in this deck. So let's take a look at our deck and compare it to our checklist. 48 mana sources, split between 34 lands and 14 pieces of ramp. A little light, but we have enough card draw to make up for it. 21 pieces of card advantage. 20 pieces of interaction. 3 board wipes. No graveyard hate. 1 sudden I win card in Thassa's Oracle. I know a lot of people are down on Thassa's Oracle as a win con, but we're an Izzet deck. We can't just exile our library with a Demonic Consultation. We draw a ton of cards with this deck, but it would take a miracle to win before turn 6. I want this deck to be high-powered and hold its own at any table. It's not a tier 1 CEDH deck by any means, but it can easily hang with the 8s and 9s out there. But I wanted to play Locust God at a lower power level, so let's take a look at the cards we'll be adding and what they'll be replacing. First of all, we want to be able to draw cards and not just discard them, so Firestorm will get replaced with Commit Memory. Rites of Refusal gets replaced with Echo of Eons. Turbulent Dreams gets replaced with Whirlpool Warrior. Again, we want to weaken the deck, so Mystical Tutor gets replaced with Skull Clamp. I know you're thinking that a Skull Clamp is stronger in Locust God, but tutors can end games. Sensei's Divining Top gets swapped out for Toothy Imaginary Friend. Narset Parter of Veils is too mean for a casual deck, so we'll replace her with Perforos, God of the Forge. Thassa's Oracle isn't as reliable a win con in this deck, so we'll be replacing it with Sage of the Falls. We added some good card advantage, so we'll be cutting Glinthorn Buccaneer for Terror of the Peaks, Breakthrough for Rite of Replication, Burning Inquiry for Cavalcade of Calamity, and Dangerous Wager for Shared Animosity. Counterbalance isn't as good without Sensei's Divining Top, so we'll swap it for Impact Tremors. Finally, the combo of Dramatic Reversal and Isochron Scepter get replaced for Ashnod's Altar and Mana Echoes. Both of these generate insane amounts of mana in our deck and aren't considered as scary as Isochron Scepter. I'll have a link to both deck lists down below, so feel free to check them out. I apologize, but neither of these are budget. I've done a budget Rielle and a budget Locust God list before, so I'll also post links to those deck lists below, as well as links to those videos. Feel free to check them out. Do you have a deck list you want to do the switcheroo for? Or maybe a deck that your playgroup considers too powerful and you want to tone it down a bit? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. One of the tiers is specifically set up for Commander. For only $25, I will build you a custom Commander deck based around your specifications, and even do a deck video on it. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Jiraiya, Muffins, Casey, Nick, Marcus, Black Dragon, Phoenix of Ice, Squishy, RGC, Brett, and Ignis. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander deck videos often, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Also, if you're a fan of anime and manga like I am, feel free to check out my other channel, Musings by Danon. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.